Welcome to the Sleepy Underworld, a place where romance blooms, magic sparkles, and timeless fairy tales are reimagined for the dreamers of today. From heart-stirring romances to spellbinding adventures, every story is a soothing escape into a realm of love, wonder, and charm. So curl up, press play, and let us carry you away to the land of dreams. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. We'd love to know in what part of the world you are watching and what is your favorite tip for a good night's sleep. Thank you for watching and enjoy the video. Sugarvale dreams. I never expected to find love in a world made of candy. But that's exactly what happened the night exhaustion finally caught up with me at my pastry workbench. The sharp scent of lemon zest still clung to my fingers, mixing with the warm vanilla and toasted sugar that perpetually perfumed my kitchen. My latest creation, an elaborate wedding cake with hand-painted fondant flowers, sat half-finished before me, and its empty tiers were a reminder of all the work still ahead. The gentle hum of the refrigerators lulled me into what I thought would be just a moment's rest. Instead, my eyes fluttered open to an extraordinary sight that made me question my sanity. Gone was my sterile industrial kitchen with its stainless steel and fluorescent lights. In its place stretched a meadow that defied reality. Flowers bloomed with cotton candy petals and marshmallow centers, their stems crafted from twisted green licorice that swayed in a breeze scented with strawberry and cream. The grass beneath my feet consisted of fine strands of green apple taffy that released their tart fragrance with each step. In the distance, mountains of shimmering rock candy pierced clouds that looked suspiciously like freshly whipped cream, their crystalline faces catching the light of what appeared to be a sun made entirely of spun sugar. The air felt different, lighter and sweeter, carrying the mingled aromas of every dessert I'd ever loved. I reached out to touch a nearby flower, wondering if the stress of running my bakery had finally broken something essential in my brain. The cotton candy petal dissolved on my tongue with a familiar sweetness that brought unexpected tears to my eyes. When was the last time I'd allowed myself to simply enjoy the taste of something sweet? These days, every creation was about precision, about perfection, about maintaining my reputation as the city's most innovative pastry chef. Beautiful, isn't it? The voice startled me from my reverie. I turned to find a man standing nearby, his dark eyes wide with the same wonder I felt as he took in our surroundings. He wore a wrinkled dress shirt, with the sleeves rolled up to reveal strong forearms dusted with what looked like graphite smudges. His burgundy tie hung loose around his neck, and his black hair had the disheveled look of someone who'd been running their fingers through it in frustration. In his hands, he clutched an architectural model, its tiny candy-themed elements precisely crafted. "I'm Isabella," I said, surprising myself with how steady my voice sounded despite the surreal situation. "And you are?" "Theo," he replied, offering a warm smile that made something flutter in my chest. "I was just working on designs for a candy-themed amusement park when I must have dozed off. The client wants something whimsical but profitable, whatever that means." His gentle, self-deprecating laugh sparked something in me, a recognition of another soul trapped between creativity and commerce. Before I could respond, the air shimmered like heat waves over warm caramel, and a small figure waddled toward us. It was a gingerbread person, complete with perfectly piped frosting buttons and a hat crafted from a perfectly formed gumdrop. The scent of ginger and molasses wafted around us as it moved. "Welcome to Sugarvale," the cookie announced in a voice that reminded me of warm honey drizzled over fresh scones. "You've been chosen for a very special adventure." The frosting forming its mouth moved as naturally as any human's, though the physics of this should have been impossible. The gingerbread guide explained that we needed to complete a series of challenges to find our way home. As Theo and I exchanged glances, I saw my mix of anxiety and excitement reflected in his eyes. Neither of us seemed entirely convinced this wasn't some sort of shared hallucination. But what choice did we have? Our first challenge brought us to Peppermint Valley, where candy cane trees grew in mesmerizing spiral patterns, their red stripes gleaming like fresh paint. We raced down the slopes on sleds made of crystallized peppermint, the sharp menthol scent filling our lungs with each breath. I hadn't felt such pure joy since I was a child, especially when Theo's sled spun out of control and landed in a snowbank of powdered sugar. He emerged laughing, the white powder dusting his dark hair and eyelashes like the world's sweetest snowfall. The Caramel Canyon tested our courage and creativity. A river of bubbling butterscotch flowed far below, releasing waves of buttery warmth that made my mouth water. The existing licorice rope bridge had gaps that needed repair, and this is where Theo's architectural expertise truly shone. He carefully constructed new sections from pulled caramel, his hands moving with the same precision I recognized from my own work with sugar. "Trust me," he said, holding out his hand as we crossed. His palm felt warm against mine, slightly rough with calluses that spoke of hands-on work, despite his professional appearance. I did trust him, and not just because we were suspended above a river of molten candy. There was something in his eyes that spoke of dependability, of someone who understood the importance of both dreams and details. The gumdrop gardens presented a different kind of challenge, with massive fruit-flavored tiles that needed to be rotated to create safe paths. Each tile released its scent when touched: grape, cherry, orange, lime, creating an ever-changing symphony of fruit flavors. Theo's logical mind complemented my intuitive approach perfectly. While he analyzed patterns, I followed the scents that we hoped would lead toward our goal. When we finally reached the center, we collapsed onto a bench made of compressed jelly beans, breathless and giddy. The bench slowly molded to our shapes, providing surprisingly comfortable support. The air was perfumed with subtle floral notes: rose, violet, and lavender, offering a gentle respite from the intense fruit flavors of the maze. "You know," Theo said softly, his shoulder pressed warmly against mine, "I haven't felt this alive in years. My firm keeps pushing me to design more practical, efficient buildings. Glass boxes and steel frames. I'd forgotten how much I love creating spaces that spark joy." I understood completely. My bakery started as a dream to make people happy through desserts. Now it's all about Instagram-worthy designs and celebrity clients. I can't remember the last time I baked something just because it made me smile. The admission felt like pulling a thorn from my heart, one I hadn't even known was there. As we progressed through more challenges, our connection deepened. Theo showed me how to build structurally sound towers from tempered chocolate blocks, while I taught him the secret to crafting perfect spun sugar decorations. We shared stories of our lives, his childhood spent building elaborate structures from anything he could find, my grandmother's kitchen where I first learned to bake. Each challenge brought us closer until the simple brush of his hand against mine sent sparks through my entire body. The licorice mountain loomed before us, its black surface gleaming like polished obsidian. We needed to reach its peak, but the twisting paths seemed impossible to navigate. Together, we crafted a ladder from giant lollipops, their swirled surfaces providing surprisingly stable footing. We supported one another both physically and emotionally as we climbed, sharing encouragement and strength. At the summit, exhausted but triumphant, Theo pulled me close. The wind carried the scent of wild berries and possibility. When our lips met, the kiss tasted of adventure and hope, and something uniquely us. His arms around me felt like coming home, even in this strange candy wonderland. Finally, we reached the Sugar Palace, its crystalline walls refracting rainbow lights that danced across our skin. The structure defied physics with delicate spun sugar supports that held up massive panels of clear crystal candy. But our awe turned to despair when the gingerbread guide revealed a cruel twist. Only one of us could return home. The thought of leaving this world without Theo was too much to bear. but so was the idea of him sacrificing his life for me. "You have to go," Theo insisted, his eyes shining with unshed tears. "Your bakery needs you, and your staff depends on you for their livelihoods." I shook my head fiercely. "No, you should go. You have clients depending on you, projects that need to be completed." The words felt hollow even as I spoke them, knowing that neither of our careers mattered as much as what we'd found together. We argued back and forth, each trying to sacrifice our chance for the other. At that moment, I realized I'd fallen completely in love with this kind, creative man who approached every challenge with both logic and wonder. He saw the world as I did, a place where magic and practicality coexisted. The palace walls shimmered like caramelized sugar, and our guide reappeared with a knowing smile that crinkled the frosting around its eyes. "The final test was never about choosing who returns," they explained, their voice warm with approval. "It was about discovering what matters most. Love is the greatest magic of all." The walls dissolved in a shower of sparkles that tasted like spun sugar and starlight, and I felt myself falling. I woke up at my workbench, my heart heavy with the fading memory of a dream. But as I lifted my head, something impossible met my eyes. Across from me sat Theo, blinking awake in confusion. Between us was a plate of perfectly formed macaroons in pastel colors, each one decorated with tiny designs that matched the challenges we'd faced. A note written in a sparkling golden script read, "Love is the sweetest adventure." 1 year later, our bakery, Sugarvale, is thriving. We create desserts that bring joy and wonder to everyone who visits, though none are quite as magical as the world where we fell in love. Our signature collection features candies and pastries inspired by our journey: Peppermint Valley swirl cookies, Caramel Canyon bars, and our most popular item, Cotton Candy Cloud 9, a delicate confection that dissolves on the tongue, just like those first flowers I tasted in the meadow. Sometimes, late at night as we're cleaning up, Theo pulls me into a dance among the display cases. As we twirl past our creations, I swear I catch the scent of cotton candy flowers and hear the distant laughter of a gingerbread guide. In these moments, I'm reminded that the sweetest dreams aren't the ones we have while sleeping. They're the ones we build together, one loving moment at a time. Every now and then, a customer will comment on the unusual warmth and joy they feel in our shop. Theo and I just share a secret smile, knowing that we've managed to bring a little bit of Sugarvale's magic into the real world, not through any supernatural means, but through the simple power of two people who remembered how to dream.